One for the Pro Series in the ERG Elevated Racing Group's Pro Series League. Last winner, or the first winner at Daytona. We're looking at his car right here, that number two. That was the Shaft Nation. Uh, Second place went to Boston Strong, and third to a new guy, Israel. Saw a lot of cool runs there, Blur. Thanks for joining me again in the booth. I'm Enick22, and if anyone's deciding to watch, thank you guys too. But how excited are you for this race, man?
Oh man, I mean, after what we just saw, and because the expectations were unknown, really, because I'm not really familiar with these drivers, but what I saw out of a few of these cars really impressed me, and I'm really excited to see what transpires here in Atlanta.
Man, you said it right there. We didn't know what to expect. There were a few drivers that were back from the Rook Series, and then there were a bunch of new guys. But that was an exciting race, man. I had a great time doing that. I'm excited to see what happens here. We should be joining their
It,
race in a second.
talking about Atlanta, this should bode for tight, fast racing. This should be a really fun race to call and watch.
I can't wait to see what these drivers do. Let's see if it's time for us to join this race yet.
Yeah, I'm in it. We got the two out front of Shaft Nation, the winner of the 98 behind the two, coming across the line. Looks like we got the double zero behind the 98. Seven behind the double zero. Having a hard time making out who's behind the doubles behind the seven.
So I'm just getting into the race now. Let's see what's
It
going
looks
on.
like
I'm
the
watching
three of Grand
Boston here.
Poppy riding in fifth as we go back down the field.
Looks like Boston Strong's in sixth. He's 1.3 seconds behind Poppy right now. Then we've got Jeremy Rainey in seventh and Thomas in eighth.
And Nick, we watched Daytona, and strategy at Daytona is nothing like strategy at Atlanta. You could get away with no tires at Daytona, not here.
No, not
Correct?
at all. Not at all. These guys, I think the winner is going to be someone that practiced running this whole race, practice running different strategies. See what two tires do. See what four tires do. Is it worth it to pit early? Is it worth it to pit late? So many options that you have. Is there going to be a caution? Will any of the practicing matter if there's going to be cautions?
Well, the thing is,
Is the double
is
zero gets in the wall?
my strategy here would be you either take too early, but if you don't take too early, I mean you're forced to take four.
Oh yeah, yeah. You
But
you are
if
forced.
so really what makes it Atlanta interesting is if you're in the lead, stage three, and you go to that green flag pit, you almost have to base your strategy on a guess of what people behind you are going to do.
Yeah, you do. And practice means a lot. Looks like we have a slow car on the backstretch. He's in the middle of the track. What is this guy doing? The 21 is going up the track into the 7 who's in second place. He needs to move down the track if he's going to be that slow. He cost the 7 a
And
little
the
time.
21 has shed speed. Everybody has saved it. It seems that the 21, I don't know,
The
loose
20,
wheel.
I don't,
Oh,
maybe,
they're
but
spinning. They're spinning, Nick. They're spinning on the
oh, I'm
backstretch.
on the 21 who's spinning. Looks like a caution's coming out. But did you notice who was up in front there? It was our
I
last
saw
winner.
Shaft.
It was our last
Yeah,
winner.
yeah, and he's making a case. He's going to have a lot of Elite Series team owners looking at him if he keeps running like this, right, Nick?
He's a smooth guy. I've raced with him before. He's a good kid. Good on the track. Israel is another thing though, man. I've never seen this guy and I was really impressed with how he ran Daytona. So
Well,
Blur,
I'll tell you this: Lightning Motorsports, we got our eyes on a couple guys.
ooh man, I don't think you want to bring that up. You might get other people thinking too.
Well, hey, I just said a couple guys. I didn't say any names. Wink,
No, no,
wink.
no. I
Wink,
get it.
wink,
You got your
Israel.
wink. You got your eyes on. Yeah, we won't say. But
No, I'm joking.
so what do you think here? Did anyone take strategy? There were only a few laps in.
You know, if you're out front, I don't even pit. I don't pit. I keep the lead. Track position isn't it isn't imperative here, but you want it. You know,
Yeah.
just like anywhere, you
It's-
definitely want it.
It really,
But this
it's
is a
a
track where
hard call.
you can run people down here though. But a lot of the times you
Oh,
need
the
good
three
side-by-side
is a
racing, which
ping
we're
pong
3 wide, we're
ball.
spinning.
Oh man, how did that 22 get through that? Oh, and that I spoke too soon.
See,
Wow.
Nick, as judging by what I've been watching, if I'm the 2, I am not hitting pit road until the end of the stage.
You said the right thing, man. You said, nope, I'm getting that track position. It's funny, I was thinking, I don't know, I'm going to pit, try and work on this car. If I pitted, I'd be stuck right now. And it doesn't look like there's a caution on the field. That 2 is flying right now. So we got that 00 trailing in second, but he's still got speed.
As I'm trying to get the footage, I'm having trouble.
Looks like this 98 running in 4th spot behind the 22. He's about a second behind. Seems a little loose. You can hear him goosing that throttle there. The 22's got some damage. If you look, you see his his gas cap there. His gas cap is hanging out. It looks like Jimmy Johnson a little bit.
Does he have a funny, Nick?
He's
Is there
got
a funny on the 22?
There's a funny. Yeah, it looks like he's got an Audi for his fuel intake.
Belly button. His car belly button is an Audi, folks. You heard it here first from Enoch.
Oh man, this 7 car, you know, he was running real well. He got caught up in that, and that's really unfortunate. It's a good thing it's early. He's still running smooth.
Nick, this is another track. Let's get back to these cautions. So the track, now these guys are all hot. You know, they just rode Daytona. They want to go fast. But really, I think it boils down to impatience, you know? Like, it's early in Atlanta. If you're in the pack, you're okay, right?
Man, that has its positives and its negatives. But like you said, they're hot. You know, they want to get moving. They just, they're pumped up. And I think patience is kind of key, but you need to be up there. Blur, you brought up track position. It's huge here.
Huge.
Imagine,
it's actually
huge.
portraying
It's
itself
huge.
a little more than I even anticipated.
I know, man. Imagine if that 2 car did pit and then he got caught up in that wreck.
That's why I think, you know, early in stage 1, if you have track position, you stay out and you hold it. I mean, if your car isn't where you want to be at stage 1, that's okay, you know. But if you have that track position, there's no reason really to risk, you know, because I'm assuming most of these guys want to loosen it up. By the way, the race is pinning out.
I'm assuming the same. And there's so many things that you have to think about with stage racing. And I think that Shaft is going to come out with a great points day. He may be thinking that. I'm staying out here. I'm going to get that track spot. No tires. Some guys may have taken 4, and look at the lead he's got. He's flying.
Well, I'll tell you this. At Atlanta, this is one of those tracks.
Ooh, looks like there's a car almost in the grass. 98.
Ooh, he comes back
the
on the track. The 7 does good job staying underneath.
That was cool.
As he looks to get a little slick into entry, but he holds it. But as I was saying, this track, okay, it's kind of like Kentucky, Homestead. Now, I don't mean as far as drivability. I mean as far as tire wear. Once your left sides wear down so much, it's almost counterproductive to take 2, is it not?
Yeah, man, it depends. And practice is a big key, too. What are my lap times like on 4 tires? What are my lap times at when I'm on 4 tires that are worn? What are my lap times at when I've got 2 tires? You know, it's like,
yeah,
there's so many things that play a key here, and
which proves practice makes perfect.
I think practice does make perfect, especially in racing, because what's first place? Can't get any better than that. That's perfect right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. As the 7's getting a nice run, I'm riding along with the 7. He catches up to the 21, 21 into the grass. 21 stays on, 21 drifts high, gets into the 7.
Ooh,
The 21 had just did something that the 7 is not going to be happy about, Nick.
No,
It
not at
was
all.
unnecessary.
And looking behind him is that 98. They're giving each other room. That 7, we've seen him have so much patience throughout Daytona through this. I don't think he's going to lose his patience, but he's going to show how he feels in a way. You know, he's going to be classy
Now,
about it.
if you're a car like the 7, maybe you do take no tires at stage 2 or take 2 tires and you try to get position because you know you have a fast car. So maybe you try to get some position and kind of struggle through stage 2, but just try to get ahead of these guys.
That is awesome thinking, man. We got crew. You're the crew chief here, Blur. That's good thinking. And if these guys are watching right now, they could learn from what you just said. I agree, man. He's so strong that he may be able to stay in front of these guys with 2 tires.
Yeah, like you.
Wow, that 21,
we know
he's lucky he got around him there.
We know
And
that
it looks-
Thomas in the 21. We know he's trying, and we know he's out here
Yeah.
driving hard. But
It takes
if you're
time.
the 7, if you're the 7 right now, you're not happy.
No, not at all. So
Let's
that's
just
the end
be
of stage
honest.
1. Stage 1 winner goes to Shaft Nation. Harvick comes in 2nd. Boston Strong 3rd. Jeremy 4th. And Grand Papi 5th. Then 6th was Israel in that 7 car. Thomas in 7th. And Lil Bobby rounding out top 8. One thing I noticed with Bobby last year is he was the sleeper. You know, he would hold back, figure out his car, and then he'd be there at the end. I expect to see the same from him this year.
You know, this 3 car has been showing some speed. It just looks like maybe he's doing some things to himself every now and then to get him out of that run. I think if he could hold it together, he's got a legitimate chance.
See, the thing with the 3 that I've always seen, Grand Papi, he's always one to improve throughout the race. You'll see him run in the back, but as the race goes on, he learns, he gets better, and he's 3 wide right now. The 21 goes up to the wall. He's going down the track below the apron, but he keeps it clean. But yeah, Grand Papi, he learns a lot throughout the races, and it's good to see. The 22
Well, I'll tell you
inside
one
the
thing.
2.
Grand Papi ran one heck of a race, and this isn't me bragging, but I ran top 5 all day yesterday at Daytona, and Grand Papi was in there the whole time. So
Yeah.
you know he has the speed.
It's just maybe, you know, I get nervous when I'm around other cars. Maybe he's got some of the nerves hitting him too, but I think all this practice that he's having is going to
It's
help.
really easy to happen, man. I mean, this isn't,
Oh, the 38
this isn't
is
as easy as it looks.
slowing back here. 38,
Oh,
into the
is that
double
the double
zero.
zero into the wall?
That was. The 38 looked a little
I
loose.
didn't see much contact. There must have been, no, but could the double zero have avoided the wall?
So, I
Maybe like
think-
lifting?
Just from guessing, the 38 was slowing, and the 3 was behind the double zero. I don't think the 3 really noticed. So then when the double zero went to slow down, he may have gotten pushed a little bit by the 3. I
Yeah.
don't think it was any, you know, it was a
Might be a
racing
little wheel
incident.
jerk,
Yeah.
wheel jerk, or how fast he was going. That's possible.
right. You know, the split second
As he goes
stuff.
past the 3 on the high side, the double zero looks to have good speed.
As we got a battle for the lead, the 22's inside the 2. He's not clearing him yet. The 2 gets down onto the quarter panel, the right quarter panel of the 22, but the 22 is able to hold that lead. It looks like the 2's getting a
Someone's
little
in the
bit
grass
of a run.
at the tri-oval.
It's a battle. It's a
It
3-car
is.
battle
It
up
is
here.
the 7 of Israel. The 7 car is not having a good showing at Atlanta as of yet. But as we all know, this is stage racing, folks.
That's
Still
right.
got one more stage to go. Just keep it within a lap of the leader, and you're all right.
As we look at the top 2 fighting, like I mentioned before, look who's in 3rd. It's Lil Bobby. You know,
Nick,
it's that sleeper.
Nick, I must interrupt you
Please.
and just talk about how much I like the way that 22 looks. Wink, wink. You know what I'm saying?
I think I got an idea. It looks like maybe someone's got a little favoritism here, and
Oh,
in the
well,
cars.
You never know.
but look who's coming up in 3rd. That 38. He's like, battle it out, guys. Be side by side. Those were some great laps side by side. The 2-car keeps it. One thing for sure. One thing for sure is that 22 of Boston Strong. He's not used to this slider setup racing, so he's got a lot to learn.
I don't race sliders. That's an impression of Boston. But I must say this. The 38 was a factor the first two stages at Daytona. I thought I had him on my ones to watch list.
Look at how he gets on the inside of that.
Can he come back and get some vengeance here in Atlanta? It's looking like maybe he can.
I think he can. He's a smooth guy, man. He's smart. He is a sleeper. The 2 goes down to the inside. Try to cross him over a bit. 38, watch out below you. Look at, oh man, they were
nice
close.
Driving,
that was
38.
perfect.
Nice
Good job.
by
Yep,
the
you got
as
laps.
well.
You got laps left. Nothing happened. You're still within that 22's reach.
And if you're the 2, what are you thinking here? Now we know the shaft, the wheelman of the 2 can get emotional now and then. Do you just hold it in, just take a deep breath, or are you pushing it?
I think he's doing a good job balancing his emotions. He knows he just came off of a win. He's got a stage win. I don't think he's going to push the subject. He's not going to take bad chances that could ruin his day. I think he's doing all right now. But
Listen,
could that change? Could that change?
He cut that run down for the 22, which is really good driving by the 2. The way he cut that run down was really good driving. But even better driving was the wheelman of the 22 who crossed him over.
That was perfect timing.
That's elite series experience, correct?
Man, that is. Because one thing that you learn from this is your surroundings. And I think Boston knew his surroundings. He knew when to drop, when to get by, and when to come back up.
And this has turned into quite the 3-car race.
Man, I got to give it to that 2. He's being very patient. He could have kept in that throttle and took that 38 out. But one thing for sure, actually 2 things. It's still early, and you don't want to have an enemy at the end of this. If he spun that 38, that 38's not going to forget it. May come back, bite him in the butt.
Nick, you're probably like me. Now, me and you usually don't make enemies, but if you make them out to the pit stop on stage 3.
That's right. That's when you show it.
Yeah.
But it's things in these long flag runs where you kind of get to learn about someone's personality and how they're going to run. And you're going to run me a little hard here in the middle of stage 2? All right, just wait till the end.
Oh, yeah, you're going to get it back. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, people, but believe me here, folks, wheelmen behind these fast cars do not forget anything.
No, they
don't. They know what happened on the first lap to the last lap.
I may forget how old I am, but I'm not going to forget lap 22
yeah,
there.
Well, once some grudging happens, they don't forget. I promise you that. As the 2 gets inside of the 22, the 2 gets to run inside of 1 and 2. The 2 side by side by a quarter of a car into the back stretch. The 2 seems to hold the lead. Who will the 38 go with? The 38 goes with the 2. Back to the 22. Back to the 2. Down the middle line. Into 3 and 4. The 2's down low. 38 with the T. 22 up top. 22 gets into the high groove. 22 carries speed. 38 behind the 2. 22 is still there side by side with the 38. Side draft by the 22.
Man,
wow,
this is
Nick,
close racing.
You want to talk about some exciting racing out here in the top 3. I'm trying to calm down.
Dude, you have some lungs on you. I got to say, that was some great commentating there. That was some great racing, too. Boston had such a run coming off of turn 2. I'm surprised he wasn't able to get there, but that with Bobby being on the bottom, giving a little draft help to Shaft, that really helped. Shaft is doing a good job. It looked kind of like Boston maybe push the subject a little bit, get him up the track.
Nick, we saw this at Daytona with Boston's side draft ability. I think that he did that the whole run on the high side. To be able to run side by side when there's a car pushing the leader is really impressive. So
see, now let's see if the 2 does it right here. Oh, the 2 could have went up in the back stretch.
Yeah, he should have hit that spot,
him.
Nick. He should have hit that. You see that grease groove?
Yep, and look at the 22 right there. You see that? You see that side draft? Man, that worked.
Yep. And the 38 of Jeremy Rainey, don't forget, he's here. He actually might be the one to end up winning this stage because these 2 are side by side. He's in the catbirds, just ready to pounce.
Oh man, this is some exciting stuff for you.
Let's tail back in the field a little bit. Talk about some of our other drivers. We've got the 00 looks to be making his run alone down the backstretch into 3. Will he get his car together for the end of the race?
I hope so. He's kind of going below the double yellow there, or the single yellow onto the apron. He may be a little loose. Got to figure out what you want to do with that car.
And it looks like the 3 is gaining on him. Does the 3 have a car to compete at the end of this thing?
I think he's being smooth. He seems like he could get a little more RPM out of this thing, but he's not all over the place. He's staying within that line towards the bottom. It's just going to take laps.
And now we're with the 98, the Hunts Brother Pizza Ford Mustang of Little Bobby. We haven't heard much of him in either race, really. Frustrated day for the 98, Nick?
You know, he is such a clean racer, and I apologize. I was getting the 98 and the 38 confused before Jeremy Rainey. I apologize, man. I was calling you Bobby. But it's because they both run so similar. They're both sleepers, and I definitely see Bobby making some moves.
Okay, you heard it there. And now we're with the 7. Now this is the perplexion of the race. Will he rebound from being pushed into the wall earlier in stage 1? Pretty much, in my opinion, why he's where he's at.
It's definitely that's the reason why he is where he's at, man. It's tough to tell what you'd want to do when you're in his position. He's such a smooth racer. At this restart, do you want to fall back a little bit? Do you want to try and play the strategy game now? I mean, they're running a lot of laps on those tires. I want 4. Like, you know how I drive. I may just let everyone kind of go, spread out, pick them off one by one, try and do it on strategy. But you're still losing time that way. What do you think?
I think, with all due respect, Mr. Nick, I disagree. I'm filling her up. I'm taking 4 tires. A lot of these cars look like they could lose some wedge. Take a little wedge out of it, and then you run this thing as hard as you can on that restart, no matter what line you're in. Because if you don't, everybody else is going to, so you might as well.
So I got to say something to you, Blur. You and I both have different strategies there, but who do we usually run into each other in the middle of long flags? Each other. You know, both strategies could work. It's crazy.
Yeah, you said it best, man. You're exactly right.
And look at that 22 taking that early lead.
As the 22 gets the run, he holds the line well. The 2's pushing. The 2 looks for room down low. He doesn't have room. He just has to fall behind him. The 38 behind him. Down the backstretch.
Down the
let's see
backstretch,
if these
3
cars behind can keep in the draft.
Well, it looks like that maybe the 00's on the outside of the 7.
Now,
the
Nick,
7 gets around. He's in 4th now.
If you're the 22, the 2, and the 38, you're pushing, right?
Yeah, you're pushing now. You need to get that distance.
If you're the cars behind them, you're kind of waiting for room. You're picking your spots because you've had such a bad run at this point that you don't want to do anything to make it worse.
Right. And you want them to. You guys run it out. You get tired. That's how I would be. I'd be the little Bobby right here. You know, waiting.
Yeah.
Trying to see if they screw themselves up. Make a little room that way.
3 wide into 2.
3 wide.
22 in the middle.
Up.
7 down low. 7 shows his spot. 22's loose. 22's shaking. 10 00 into the 2. They are wrecking, folks. What a wreck. And it looked like nothing but a racing incident, Nick. It looked like the 22 got a run and said, I got to go 3 wide. You can't blame him there, right?
You can't blame him, and you can't blame the 7 either. It looked like the 7 came up the track, but think about how that 7's been racing all race. He's been methodical. He's been smooth. So when you have to push that subject and you're not used to it, you don't know how to get around that corner too fast, and it kind of showed there as he pushed up into the 22. I think he learned something from that, and I don't think we'll see it again with how smooth he's been.
Well, as we look at the replay, as I just checked the replay out, if anybody's upset, that 2 car, who's been a top 3 car all night, is none too happy, if I had to guess right now, because he is the one that caught the worst of it.
Gosh, you know, you are right. Look at him there starting in, what's that, 9th spot?
Yeah, the 22 and the 2 are in the back row. and they have been the top three
Seven
leading this
spot.
race all time. Let's see how they 3 wide on
Oh,
the start.
dang, look at that 22
inside.
cut the middle.
We go into 1, through 1, into 2.
Look at that 38 go. And the 98, the two guys I was talking about, those sleepers.
Now, if you're 98, you should pitch down to the track and take
Yeah,
that air off the 7.
He needs that air. Oh, man, he's holding it, though.
He is. He's going to get run over, though, here shortly, I think, Nick. Yeah,
He found a spot. He found a spot.
Nice move, 98.
Watch out.
Nice move.
That 3, you know, it's a long race. He doesn't want to get into the back of him.
And look, Nick, as we expected, look where the 7 car is.
Right there. Right in second. Oh, the 22's falling back.
And this racing looks really good, folks.
It is. This is some close racing.
We
They're
got a
doing great
6-car
job.
pack, 7. Boston will be there. Will the 21 find something to get back up into this pack too? We're wrecking. Someone's into the
Ooh,
grass.
looks like-
It
was that
looks
the
to be the
00?
2.
The 2?
It looked to be the 2. Yeah,
You know-
it is the 2, folks. The 2's back on the track. 98 into the wall. 98 still into the wall. 98 hugging the wall.
Wow, man. It's tough once you start getting back there. Maybe the 2 car was just so used to being up front that it's tough when your environment changes.
Hold on, I'm hearing a lot of radio communication on the mics. Let's hear what we hear.
Last night, I think the fastest cars are stuck.
As we hear Shaft says he thinks he has a fast car. He's just stuck.
I like his attitude. You know, he's not discouraged. He's not frustrated. That can change the way you race. He knows he's got time. He knows he's strong. He just needs laps to be able to get up there. He needs them battling.
And as we got the 7 and the 38 side by side coming through 4, the 3's a factor now, Nick. The 3 is a factor. And how about this 00 in the Ford Mustang?
Where did he come from? Dude, these guys are killing it. Look at Grandpappy. Like I said, Grandpappy, he needs just time to get used to the track as the 38 falls back.
Look at the 3. He
3 is trying to get down there.
Is he going to make the move? Is he loose or is he moving, Nick? I think he tried to make the move.
I think he was trying to make the move.
Decided not,
Yep.
and said, okay. And that was really good driving by the 00 behind him to get out of the throttle.
Wow, man. Yeah, the 00 is being very patient.
Which I can't blame him.
So with this little battle going on, who's making some ground? That 22?
I still like the 7. Nick, I still like the 7.
Well, the
But I'm
7's
seeing
not pulling
speed out
away.
of this well, that's Atlanta. You could be a second ahead of Atlanta and get hunted down.
Yeah, you can. Once someone catches that draft, it's hard to get out of it unless there's a mistake.
And here's what's crazy, Nick. Is okay. See, the 3 gets below him. So he should have shoved it down there. But the crazy thing is, if he would have shoved it down there, you're not going to get the run down the backstretch. You're going to end up side by side. But the reason you shove it down there in 1 and 2 is because you're going to get the entry in 3 and 4.
That's right. Yeah, that makes a good point there. And one thing I noticed too, I think the 7 saw that coming. So that's why he stayed in the middle of the track. He's like, if I go down there, I might get my rear end spun out by that 3. He's being smart.
Yeah. Now you can't blame the 3 for being cautious, but I feel like maybe he missed his spot last lap, Nick.
I think if he tried to go for it around
Here we go.
1 and
Here
2,
we go.
he may have pushed up the track and ruined both
Stay
their days.
down there, 3. Yeah. See, nice driving. This is good driving here, boys.
This is great
Stay
driving.
down there, 3. Sorry, folks. I'm not rooting for the 3. I just want to see good racing.
This is great racing, but dude, that 00, man, I bet you he's barely in the gas. If anyone's gonna save gas, it's that 00, man.
Oh, absolutely, Nick. Everybody knows you save more gas. Now, that guy out front, he's got clean air. But let's be honest, NASCAR Heat 3 does not treat clean air like it should be treated.
No, it doesn't.
But
it
that's
also
neither here nor there.
It's true. And think about how dirty air could be even better in a sense that it makes it harder.
Well, you'll save fuel, as we were talking. Dirty air, you will save fuel.
Oh, completely. But the handling is good too.
I would assume that the 3, most definitely the 00 has a half a lap of fuel more than the 7.
I agree, man. The 3 and the 7 have been battling so much, and that 00 hasn't been pushing the subject, so you know he's out of the gas a lot more.
As we see.
Oh,
the
00
3.
up into the 3.
Oh, they're rubbing. They're racing.
Man.
They're racing, Nick.
The 3,
hold
it, 3.
Does he hold it?
He's holding it for now.
So now, if you're the 3, do you get with the 22?
Yeah.
Is the question. You cannot race side by side and
No.
expect to catch him.
One thing I would do, I'd get behind the 22 for a lap or two, unless I feel like I'm faster, and then get around him. But you need to gain that momentum back. You got to wind this bad boy up again.
And I'm really impressed. Out of all the turmoil and all that's bad that has happened with the 7 car during this race, of how he's out front and he's running a clean race.
Yeah, he really is. I don't know if you noticed right there, but the 00 had a run on the bottom. He got inside. He noticed that if I get in the gas, I'm going to push the 7 up. He got out. He got out of the gas. And that was smart. That was a smart move right now. It looks like they're
Absolutely.
at lap 60 of 82. And Boston hit the wall coming through 3 and 4. Slowed down a bit.
And speaking of Boston, I'm not even really sure how he's shaken out to the back like this.
You know, it's funny, man. When the 3 and 4 cars up front were battling, I really expected that 22 to catch him real quick.
But Nick, here's the deal. Boston's middle name is Strategy, right?
Oh man, yeah. We've seen him win a ton of times in this series last year off Strategy.
Wink, wink, folks. Wink, wink. His middle name is Strategy.
Middle? Can that have something to do with it? Is he going to pit in the middle of the stage? Is he going to pit a little late?
If I'm him at this point, there's 2 things you could do. You pit early, but you better get that pit right. Okay?
You got to.
Or you pit with the leaders and you take no tires.
And look at what he's doing.
Because he's pitting early, folks. He's pitting early.
He likes that soft bed.
Yep. Will he take 2? Will he take 4? Will he take none? Now, at this point, he could probably take 2, Nick. Maybe none.
Well,
I don't think 4 is an option for him.
Is he going to have enough gas?
Yeah.
You know, do you take a short, like you said, do you take a can and then pit again, or should he have stayed out a few more laps?
As I'm unaware of the window.
Me too.
That's
I
a
have
good
no
point.
idea.
That's a good point.
But what is the ratio like? You know, as you're running, does the estimated fuel make up on the laps left, or is it the other way
Nick,
around?
from experience, after pits, let's assume he took 2. I'm thinking he took 2. He's going to shed a 1.5 seconds off of his fast lap over the course of the run from experience. Now, will the 2 tires in the 8-second advantage
is it gonna
get
even
him
out?
where he needs to be?
I see, and I think it depends on how many laps would be left, you know. And when I running Chicagoland last night, you know, I did a few practices, and I found that it was best to take 4 tires instead of 2 in the final stage, because I lost ground with the 2. Yeah, I came out 8 seconds ahead, but the lap times were so much slower than having 4.
And Nick, on the flip side of that, I also raced Chicago last night, and I got in some unfortunate circumstances that made me start 11th on the 3rd stage. I had to take 2 tires because I was back.
That's
and
right.
I gained 3 track positions because of it. So we'll see what happens with the 22. Excuse me.
Well, I don't want to bring it up, but the 2 tires didn't work for you in the end.
No, they didn't, because somebody rubbed me off the track.
Yeah, he was really aggressive, and he did not need to do that. Sorry, man.
No, that 3 car was fast. He didn't rub me off the track, folks. I'm just messing with him.
always
the 7's
fun, man.
still in front.
Looks like we got a lot of guys.
They're going to pit together. 00 into the
guys.
grass. He got into the 7, going into the pit road. The 00's in the grass. The 00 gathers it back up. He's coming into the pits with him. It looks like the 2's coming with them as well.
I wonder how much time
So
they could have lost. I wonder who had.
now we have 3 guys on
penalties.
pit road, Nick. Now here is really where we're gonna find out who does what.
Yeah, let's see this cycle. Look at the 22.
We got the 7
flying
on
around the
first
38.
as the 3 exits pits.
As we follow,
The
I'm
question
gonna
is,
follow
did the
3.
7? Now the question works on the strategy of the 7, Nick. Okay, you're out front. You've been leading the whole 3rd stage.
Oh,
That's a
the
2-tire
7 and the
stop.
0 are coming out at the same time.
That's a 2-tire
Holy
stop.
cow! The 7 lets the 20. The 7 lets the 00 go, so they're not side by side coming off pits. Wow, that 7 is fast. He's trying to get fast. That 00 is fast too, coming off pit road. Man, these guys are
But
running strong.
But if you're the 7 at 00 and the 2, you have to take 2 tires right there, correct? You have to.
I mean, yeah, I think that would work. They ran a long run, so they're going to have a shorter amount of laps on this set of tires than the 22. They had an issue that cost them time. They need to make it up somewhere, and yeah, I think 2 tires is where it is.
Now the question is, does the 22 have enough
the
fuel?
7 into the wall.
And will experience prevail?
I think there's not much of. If the 00 is in second behind the 22, I don't know, man. It's tough to tell. What do you think?
Here's the issue, though, Nick. These guys, if they want to get to the 22, they have to run in a line.
You are right, man. See, this is our crew
They
chief
have to.
talking here. Crew chief driver Blur. He thinks of all the strategies, and got to keep an open mind here.
You don't want, okay, if you're the 7, you definitely want that position, but you don't want a chance of losing the race. You don't want a chance of losing the race either. So in my opinion, everyone drives different, but in my opinion, I'm pushing the 00 here to get to the 22, and then I'm pouncing.
I'm the same way. The only time that I would get around that 00 is if I feel your laps are not as consistent as mine. If you're not as
Exactly,
then maybe it's best if I lead. And what's good is when you have another driver that recognizes that, moves over, lets you go, and we'll battle this out in a few laps.
The 7 could have dove low, but I think he's thinking what we're thinking. He knows he's not going to get there without the 00.
Yeah,
it's just not going to happen.
And one thing too is being behind a guy and then being in front of a guy on the track. You drive differently, You can have nerves going. For me, as an example, I would much rather ride behind for a few laps, because when I'm in front, I'll be looking in my mirror. I'll make some mistakes.
But Nick, let's be real here. Aren't nerves the biggest factor? For me, they are.
Oh,
like
me
once
too.
you shake the nerves off. Now I'm assuming that most of these guys have shook them off by now. It's stage 3, but still, the nerves are there on the start. Then you race, but the nerves come back in as the race comes to an end, right?
Definitely. And thinking of nerves, one guy who never shows a bit of nervousness or anxiousness is Boston Strong. But look at these guys kind of catching up to him. Do you think his nerves are growing, or is he still cool as a cucumber?
The 2 is becoming a factor in 2-3 pack. The 4 is coming.
That's right. That 2 is back. He
that
said how confident he was. Yeah, he's confident. As the 7 was getting around the 00, that was so smooth by both those drivers, but it did bring that 2 up in there.
Do you have a? How far are they back, Nick? Can you see that?
I'm not seeing it yet, but it does look like as Boston's crossing the line that they have 8 laps to go. I'm guessing they're about. Let's see, as he hits right there. They're about 4 or 5, about 8/10 off maybe. I don't know, I'm guessing. No, I don't know. Maybe a second, a little over a second. But Boston lost a lot of speed right there. I think he's trying to save, I don't know. This 2 is flying though, as he gets around the 7. This is some exciting racing here. Is that 2 going to catch him? I think he might. I think he's there.
Apologize, Nick. All the amenities here at the track had me I had to hit the little boys room.
Hey man, didn't that Jarrett do that once? I think he did.
Okay, now listen, folks. I'm sorry, but I gotta tell Nick this. I have a NASCAR.com fantasy league that I'm in with 12 guys, and my first name is Jared, so my NASCAR name is I'm Just Jarrett.
There you see,
You got Dale Jarrett.
Dale Jarrett though. That's channeling the family. You got that bloodline. Look at these 3, man. They are flying. Those second and third place cars are catching Boston. I'd be nervous. Let's see how many they got left as he crosses the start finish. 5 to go. 5 to go, folks. Is he gonna have fuel?
And how did the sorry, folks, if you don't mind me asking, how did the 2 get to 7?
Well, the 2 got the 7. I think he was just running that bottom line a little, and when that 00 fell off, and that 7, the 7 was in new territory by not really having draft, so he had to drive a little differently. That 2 has been running alone for a while, so he knows how to drive that thing. He caught up.
And as of now, it looks like we're going to have the same post-race interviews as Daytona. Will these guys give themselves a chance to get up in the booth 4 back?
Yeah, let's see if we get some other podium finishes. It may be tough. We would probably need a caution. I think the way things are spread out, I'm going to go through the field just a bit so we see where everything is. That 38 is running 4th, waiting for something to happen. The 3 on the backstretch. 98 not too far behind. It looks like that 22 is catching a lap car. This could mean trouble.
This could mean trouble for the 22, not for wrecking purposes, but for slowing down purposes, because that lap car could be a pick for the 2 and the 7 to get by the 22.
Yeah, and they're not too far behind. A little bobble from that 22, and that 2 and 7 are right there, man.
And you got to imagine as a 22 spotter is telling that lap car, please stay high, right?
Oh, man, definitely. Stay high, stay up there, or get on the aprons. Do something, get out of our way. As they got 2 to go.
It looks like the 2 is giving the 22 a little bit of a run.
Oh,
He's getting some speed.
He's licking his chops right now, man. He's like, yeah, catch that lap car. I'm gonna force you to. I'm gonna force you to catch that lap car. He's got nothing to lose right now.
But here's the deal. He looked like he had his entry into 3 a little higher than my liking.
Yeah,
I'm sure he's thinking the same thing.
You know how things get when you're trying to push it. When you're trying to push that thing, you could actually slow the car down. Sometimes slower is faster.
You're trying to get everything out of it. You shed speed because you're sliding through the turns. The last lap backstretch. 22 through 3, through 4, into 4, through 4, 2, 7 following.
The 21 stays high as the 22 gets below him. The 21 into the wall. And that was it. That was the race.
That was it, folks. And
look at that.
Defending champion.
Boston Strong gets that win. Shaft Nation, nice close second. Congrats to Boston Strong on that win. If they had about 5 more laps, I don't know. That 2 was coming.
It would have been interesting, Nick. Let's see if we can get these drivers, these top 3 finishers of the 22, the 2, and the 7. The 22 being Boston, the 2 being Shaft, and the 7 being Israel. Let's see if we can get a word with them. Just give me a second here.
This is good. Give them some time to breathe. Catch up to their senses. That was an exciting race, man.
That was a really good race. That was one of the best stage ones I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, and that final stage, having to pit, you have to go through the whole pit cycle. That was some grade A stuff. Some good stuff in this ERG Pro Series right off the bat. As we see, fastest lap time goes to Boston Strong with a 30.013. Second, Israel, 30.049. And third, Grand Poppy. Nice job. Shaft gets in here.
Well, that's a nice finish by Grand Poppy.
Yeah. Yeah, he was running real strong there for a bit. As Israel joins as well, we'll get to you guys
I
in a
really
moment.
enjoyed that race. It was, like I said, stage one was immaculate.
Yeah, that was some good stuff. And here's our winner, Blur. You got any questions for him?
Boston, you got a copy.
Yeah, buddy, what's up?
It looked like as the race progressed, we were wondering, does he have it? Does not have it? You look fast. You look slow. What'd you do to get yourself in position to end up winning that race?
Well, me and Shaft and Jeremy had a good run through there going for a while, and then I felt like me and Shaft was probably pretty much equal. So we were just basically swapping around passes. And then when we got to this third stage, somebody got into me. I think it was Israel maybe. He got loose or hit the apron or something like that. And it started putting us in the back. And I got up to about third or fourth place, and they were about a second, and I couldn't touch them past that because their draft was just getting us that. I couldn't get past them with being a single car. So I decided to just go ahead and let off, and there was two guys behind me. I don't remember who they were. I just let them go ahead and go by me, and I figured, okay, let's just try it on strategy and see what happens. So we took a shot at it and ended up saving 2 laps of fuel.
Did you take two?
I took 4 tires and fuel only with 21 to go, and you can only go about 19 laps on a tank, and I was able to get 2 laps saved.
Well,
hey, it was really impressive. I was wrong. I thought you took 2, so that was even more impressive to save 2 laps. Nice win. Good job, Boston.
Yeah, for sure.
So Boston, champ from last year in this series, there was a point in the race where they were battling up front. I thought you were going to get up to them. You didn't, and then after all that debacle, you pitted early, and Blur even said, middle name of this guy is strategy, and he was right. That played a key, but then it looked like Shaft was coming up quick. Were you worried at all?
Well, so yeah, I like some strategy. I like doing that, and I'll take that nickname. When I came out with the strategy, I knew I was going to have to save fuel. I just didn't know how much. At the time, I thought I was going to have to save about a lap. Coming out in front, I got about a 4-second lead, I think it was Israel. And I just started saving hard. I let off entirely until I got to the middle of the turn and then got back on the throttle. And I did that for probably 10 laps straight until Shaft got to me about a second there. And then I had to pick up the speed. I think there was like 6 to go or something like that. And then he steadily stayed there at about a second with me going full throttle. And I was like, okay, well, and I was still showing about a half a lap short. So I'd let off the gas about halfway coming in the entrance of the turn and then get back on full throttle. I thought I was going to run out and he was going to catch me because he was about 4 or 5 tenths there. But I ran out just right at the line.
Yeah, that was impressive, man. I was getting nervous for you there. That was great, and good job, good win. Nice to see it. Thanks for coming down into the series to help these guys out. Everyone did a great job, I gotta say. So thanks for talking to us. I'm gonna move over to Shaft here. Shaft, Blur did this really cool thing where he put the Discord up to the mic so we can hear you, and you were saying how happy you were, like you were confident, man. Shaft, you were confident. You got the short, you drew the short straw when that little wreck happened. I don't think you lost your cool. You kept it cool. You almost got that win. You fought your way back up there. How did you feel about that race?
Well, going back to that little wreck, when we went through the grass, we felt that the splitter was torn up a bit, and when they did check when we did the pit stop, it was a little bit damaged. So I do feel like we were a little bit slower, but we ended up taking two tires there, trying to get up there. It did work, but obviously with him, I'm pretty sure being on 4 tires, he was just way faster than us. But it's a good win for him. I'm just happy to have another top 3. Should be the points leader after this race too, so
Yeah,
it'll be fun.
you had a great night.
Shaft, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
Nice run. It was impressive. The 2-car looked nice out there at Atlanta tonight. Off the wall, I kind of want to talk about, okay, now me and Nick were talking, we figured you and the 00 took, you the 00 and the 7 took 2 tires. how nerve-wracking is it in that scenario when you know you're trying to hunt the leader down, but you got to have a clean exit? You got to have a clean entrance, clean exit. How nerve-wracking is that?
Well, it's very nerve-wracking. We're sliding up through like the middle of the corner, and we can't really brake because we're trying to get up to the leader, So we just got to trust that everybody can hold it and stuff like that, and no one slides up and hits the wall.
Well, Nick, Shaft does a hell of a race, a nice performance, nice second place finish.
Thank you.
Israel, you got a copy?
Yeah, 10-4.
Now, we saw the first two stages not go your way whatsoever, and not by your doing. My question is, are there any rivalries made out there after the Atlanta race, and how did you manage to hold it together to still maintain your speed and have a top 3 finish?
Oh, yeah, I mean, first stage was just trying to see how everyone was racing just the same way I was doing in Daytona, and see how everyone would just run their line and all. But yeah, it turned out the car was way too loose, so talked out to crew chief and all and see what we can do in the end and try to get it up there in the top 3. And then just comes out just right on stage 2 and just get into a big accident right there. But we still pulled it off and got at least up there past 2 guys in the last, passing 8 and 7, finishing off in P6 first stage, and just doing our best we can to try to finish off in the top 3, and it all turned out well for us.
Well, Israel, I think you're a hell of a wheelman for that 7. It was a good race, man.
I appreciate it, boss.
Yeah, so Israel, another really smooth run by you. I like how you're saying, watching how other guys drive. It's very methodical, you did a heck of a job. Do you think it may have just been adjusting that could have helped the car? You think you may try to find something later on in the year that you can change to make yourself just a little faster, because you are smooth?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, just try to working out with the 00. At one point when I was leading the race, the 00 was with me, and I just found out from the other guys that the 22 was pitting, and he pitted about 3 laps early before we did. So I realized, that 22 and the 2 car, they're pretty fast cars, just the way they were in Daytona. So I wanted to see if I at least can contend up in that position right up there. And I just told the 00, once when we come out, let's try to pack up. Let's try to get up there as quick as we can. If not, we just switch it around, and I'll lead and you try to push me. But we saw that 2 car coming in quick, and I think the 00 just got a little bit too tight in the very end right there.
Wow, that's smart thinking throughout the race, and that's cool to see. I can't wait to see what happens throughout the rest of the year. I definitely want to thank everyone, man. That was some fun racing. What do you think, Blair?
Yeah, gentlemen, that was a pleasure to call, a pleasure to watch. It was fun. It was good racing, boys.
Appreciate it, boss.
Yeah, that was some great racing. Great first night. Can't wait. 2 weeks, we'll get back on track with these pro cars, and we'll see how these guys fare then. I'd like to thank Blair for joining me. Man, it was a pleasure. Had a ton of fun with you tonight with this.
Always.
Always. I'm getting on track because I'm pumped. So
yeah,
hopefully
me
I'll
too.
see some of you
Me
guys
too.
out there.
Let's go racing, baby.
Let's go racing. Have a good night, everyone.